Don't give me that look. Boom. Leah B.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
All right.
Is this okay?
No, actually, I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. We are here. We're finally doing this after I've been bugging you. Not really bugging you. I asked you. You're just a busy woman.
I am a busy woman, but I made time, so here I am.
Apparently,
Let's
you got all day.
Just today, I know. It's a special day.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So, first thing I want to ask you, I'm not going to do a bunch of questions, as I told you, it's just a conversation. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask. You have a book coming out.
I do have a book coming out.
Like, is this the first book that you've ever written?
It is. It is.
What made you want to write a book? That's a daunting task.
Yeah, I didn't realize how daunting it would be before I started it. But, once I started something, I'm not the type of person to quit. So here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It has actually been a really great experience. I've learned a lot through it.
Right.
But there is this program, and it's called the Creator Institute.
Wait a minute, real quick. Pull that mic a little bit closer to you. There you go. Yeah. Like angle it at your mouth. There you go. You're good.
Okay.
We're good. Please continue.
Yeah, so there is this program, and it's called the Creator Institute, and Eric Koester, who is a professor at Georgetown University, started it, and there was an opportunity to enroll in this fellowship this past summer. And so I had a little bit more time over the summer because I was taking less classes and nannying, and so I said, all right, what are some ways that I can grow both personally and professionally? And this seemed like a really great opportunity to do that. So, as if grad school isn't enough, I said, let's take on one more thing.
And the idea you came up with was to write a book.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, I'm with you. Why not?
Yeah, so here we are. I will be publishing in the summer of 2021, which I'm pumped about.
That's like right around the corner.
I know, it's coming soon. And the book is called Conscious Empowerment, A Guide to Helping Girls Build Self-Esteem and Confidence.
I was literally just about to ask you what it was about.
Oh, you want to know?
Well, you already told me that. Now we know the name. So what is the book about?
Yes. So the book is for individuals who work and live with girls in any capacity. And it is about basically how to help them build their self-esteem and confidence. But it also looks and considers how race, culture, ethnic background, socioeconomic status play a role in the development of a young woman and her self-esteem and confidence, because a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. You have to look at the unique individual when you're trying to figure out how to help them. And so it goes into a bunch of different stories. I interviewed actually 35 individuals from different backgrounds and a lot of people who are experts in working with young women to collect some of the knowledge. I've done my own research and then had my own experiences and basically put that together into 6 principles, which I'm real excited about sharing.
Oh, you're excited about sharing it. Now, are these 6 principles that you came up with?
Yes and no. So what happened was when I was doing these interviews, I obviously was listening and trying to figure out about, what topics were coming up the most. And so I called these kind of the trending topics, right? Because when you talk about younger people, trending is a big word because of social media.
Trending is a huge word right now.
Yes. Like this episode will be trending because it's awesome. You're awesome, right? That's the goal,
man.
right?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
So as I was listening to people, I was trying to figure out what the trending topics were. And so these things came up over and over in interviews and just throughout my life as I've been learning and growing in this industry. And so the 6 principles are: be that adult. So basically the idea that you need to be the champion for the young people in your life. So being a role model for them, showing up when they need you. Exposure. So the importance of allowing young women and young men as well to have different experiences. So going to different museums, joining clubs, joining different organizations, sports, things like that, so that they can learn more about what they're interested in.
Okay.
And then next we have representation. And this means that girls basically need to see somebody who looks like them in the different areas that they maybe are aspiring to so that they can believe that they too can do it. So having more diversity in the media and in the classrooms and, having more women in the STEM fields, things of that nature.
Wait, more women in the what fields?
STEM fields. So that's like science.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
science, technology, engineering, mathematics, things like that. Yeah.
So I'm guessing there's probably, I always thought there was a decent amount of women in those fields, but I'm guessing there isn't, huh?
Definitely fewer women than there are men. And so there's been a big push recently, through these different, like Girls Who Code. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that organization?
Yeah, well, I was about to say, so all of the scientists that I personally know are women. My friend Jill, remember Jill? When
yeah, she's great.
She's a scientist. She has her doctorate in, I don't want to butcher it. I don't want to butcher it, but she's a scientist. And then I would say a good 80% of the people that I know that code, like all the coders that I know, because, as you can see, I'm a geek, so I know a lot of coders. 80% of them are women. So I always thought that women were at the forefront, but I always say that I speak from this box that is my life. So in my life, the majority of the scientists that I know, I guess the majority of the doctors that I know too are women. Majority of the coders that I know are women, but that's my life. I'm guessing on a global platform, it's completely different, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's dope that you have that many people in your life that are females in kind of those backgrounds, because
I think I just gravitate towards women. I got 7 sisters, so I think I've just always kind of, you know what I mean? So when I look at, when I sit here and think about it now, that's probably what it is. It's just, though, like, I tend to make friends with women pretty often.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally possible. But overall, though, there are less women in the STEM careers. And so there's a big push to get more girls into that and, exposing them to different programs and, also the representation. So all these awesome women that you have in your life, having them maybe come speak to some of the girls that we work with or something like that would be awesome, because they need to see women who are successful in these areas.
Now, that's something that I never thought of. If you don't see it, you kind of don't think it's possible a lot of times, huh?
Unfortunately, yes, that is the case.
That's deep. That is deep. So, your book is about empowering them to go out and like seek out these type of opportunities, yeah?
Yeah, so it's for the parents to help them basically give the girls the skills. So encouraging parents to sign their daughters up for different, clubs and organizations and sports and things like that. And then it gives some tangible steps of how they can apply it to the girls in their life, right? Because one girl is not going to be interested in the same thing as, somebody down the street.
Like you said, a one size fits all approach doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the book, I even say, like, what serves you, roll with it, and what doesn't, you can leave it. I won't be offended if not everything in here is the best for you, but there will be things in there that will definitely speak to the readers and the girls in their lives that they can take away to help their girls to gain confidence and, have a higher self-esteem too.
Well, I mean, yeah, like, not everybody is going to take everything from like anything that they come across.
Right.
You take out what works for you. You take out the rest of it. I mean, I'm sure the rest of it is still like good information. It just may not be applicable to what they're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows if they could use it for somebody else they come across. So if it's not their daughter, maybe if they're a teacher or something, they could use it for their students. So, hopefully they can use it in various avenues of their lives.
Is this something that's always been a passion of yours? Or is this something that maybe came up years later? Like growing up, were you involved in a lot of different things, or did you ever feel held back because you're a woman or anything like that?
It's interesting that you asked that question, because
I try to ask the interesting questions.
So I don't know that I would say I personally felt held back. Like, I was really fortunate to have a good support system and to have opportunities and things like that. What I will say, though, is I did struggle with the self-esteem and confidence piece, regardless of not, lacking opportunities. And that's what I felt was like, if I was still struggling and I was this fortunate, how much harder could it be for somebody else who maybe doesn't have those same resources or, education or the things that I was fortunate to have. And so I wanted to be able to use, the privilege that I've had to be able to help other people.
Right. Okay. I can dig that. What type of things did you do growing up? Were you like a sports person? Were you a homebody? Were you who is Leah B? That's what we're asking. Who are you?
Well, she's not a homebody. I mean, anybody who knows me knows I like to be out and about and
I mean, I know you.
connecting.
I don't know that.
Oh, please. Yes, you do, Thaiger.
Every time I've ever talked to you, you're at home.
Well, I mean, especially now with COVID, I've been kind of stuck in the house, which has been making me crazy. Because you better believe that me being home alone, just me and the cat, is rough.
Jeez, are you a crazy cat lady now?
No, I actually was not an animal person at all. And now I have this cat, and actually, his name is Furby. And I have to admit, I do love Furby now.
Wait, why did you name your cat Furby?
So I didn't name him Furby. I adopted him from a
his name was
friend.
already Furby.
His name was already Furby.
Oh, okay.
But like I like the name, you know? I used to play with the Furby toys when I was younger. I don't know if you remember
Did
those.
you? Those creepy things?
Yeah, I mean, I would get them at McDonald's all the time back when I ate fast food.
They have Furbies at McDonald's?
They did when I was younger, and I would get Happy Meals.
I didn't know that. I thought you had to go like Toys R Us for it. I've never had a Furby, so I personally wouldn't know.
I had all kinds of them, but now I got Furby the cat. So, you know, well, I'm home alone. Me and Furby hang out. But, yeah, I don't like to be alone all the time. I like to be around people. So that's who I am.
In the current climate, that's a little bit more difficult. Slightly. Well, for some people that have cats. So, like, what type of stuff did you do growing up? Were do you come from a big family?
So I have 3 siblings, and my parents are still together. So there's 6 of us total in my immediate family.
Brothers, sisters, both?
2 sisters, older and younger, and a younger brother.
Okay.
So I'm the second in line. And growing up, I did all kinds of different things. I did Girl Scouts. I played softball.
Wait, pause.
Yes.
You did Girl Scouts?
Yeah, are you judging me? Why
I'm
do you
not.
seem so surprised?
I'm not judging you at all. I'm just surprised by that.
Why are you surprised?
You've never struck me as the Girl Scouts type of person. That's very interesting, actually.
What does a Girl Scouts type of person?
Every person that I've ever met that has done Girl Scouts has a different demeanor than you do. Like, you're way more outgoing than a lot of the Girl Scouts that I've met.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's not a judgment. Like
Sure.
Like I said, I always say, I speak from the box. That's my life. All of the Girl Scouts that I've met are very introverted people.
Interesting.
A lot of the Boy Scouts that I've met, most of them are also like kind of introverted. So yeah, from the people that I've met, I just never would have thought that you've done Girl Scouts.
We got to get you outside of your box. This box you have.
I like my box because then I get to get surprises like this.
Woo!
See? Yeah, because you're an extremely outgoing person.
Yeah, most of the time.
The first time I ever met you, you just struck up conversation and we talked for like a half hour. Like the first day that I met you, we were supposed to be working.
That was at the mitzvah, right?
Yeah.
That one was fun.
Wasn't it like the circus one or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that was probably one of the craziest ones I had ever worked.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I've worked some I've worked some wild ones.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for the people who are listening, like not everybody knows that I worked for Rock the House and that's how we met. So like, do you want to share a little bit about that?
I thought I just did.
Oh. Okay, well, this is awkward.
I pretty much just
Moving
did.
on.
Yeah, the first day we met, you like just struck up conversation and talked to me for like, you drove me home.
Did I?
Yeah, because I was
I don't remember
I had
that.
Ubered down there and I was about to Uber back and you were like, I'll just drive you. And I was like, what? You don't even
Really?
Yeah, you drove me home.
I have such a horrible memory. Like, I don't know. Actually, I was
Oh, do you? You also owe me $50. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, right. Okay. Funny. So no, like, yeah, I do have a bad memory because actually the other day I was thinking about how, all right, so Rock the House, I did a little emceeing, and this is kind of related to what we're doing.
I didn't know that actually.
You didn't?
Yeah, I didn't know that. You were a party motivator when I met you.
I was primarily a party motivator, dancer.
Yeah, that's what I originally was,
Yes.
and then I stopped because I was DJing, and then they would hire me to DJ like the bigger thing. So that's why I was there. is
Yeah.
to DJ. Yeah. So I didn't know because I
Right.
wasn't fully working for Rock the House at that time.
Right.
So by then I was already, chasing the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't do a lot of emceeing, but this is the point that I'm trying to make here is that it relates to the book because I think a lot of the times I didn't have confidence in my ability to be an MC, if I'm just being real open. I don't think I ever shared this with anybody else at Rock the House.
This is surprising me too.
That I didn't have confidence to be an
I always
MC.
thought you would have been a great MC.
Well, and when I did it, I think I did an all right job.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like there was other people, other females in the organization who ended up really kind of like taking on that MC role. And I kind of feel like I had held myself back a little bit as a dancer. And looking back, I wish I would have had more confidence in my abilities to be able to kind of step out and continue to move forward. But at the time, I just wasn't in that place. But then I started going back and looking through like the previous shows and stuff that I did just the other day. And I was like, wow, I actually emceed quite a bit more than I remembered, mostly with school dances. And I did like a couple community events. But when it came to the mitzvahs, that's where I think I never really tried it because I was just too scared.
That was your time to shine.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. That's something that, with this book is like, I feel like I always go back and like beat myself up. Like, why did I not have that in me to just try?
What was it about it that had you scared, would you say?
I don't know, messing up. Like I don't do well with failure. I like to be good at things, but I think that's part of the reason I'm doing all the things that I'm doing is to show people that it's okay. Like it's learning experience and, you don't have to be perfect. And, that's why I'm trying to step out and do more things like I'm doing here where like, all right, if you flub up and you say, hey, I'm not perfect and neither is anybody. So like keep moving forward.
You're leading by example.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
No, it never is. I mean, but it's not supposed to be, right? I mean, if
no, I don't think it's supposed
if everything was easy, then everybody would do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that that's why things like this are so important, just having these real candid conversations, because I think to the outside, people see like, oh, you're a business owner, you're in grad school and you're writing a book, like you're doing all these awesome things and, you're empowering these girls, but it's like, I struggle too, Yeah. And so even though I'm teaching and helping people who are younger than me and maybe some that are older than me too, and, empowering them is like, I don't have it all together either.
You said you're a business owner. What is your business?
So it's called Empowered and Poised, LLC. Okay. And it's a girls' wellness and empowerment program.
Oh, right there on the screen?
Oh, yeah, right there on the screen. Empowered and Poised. Check it out. It does have an and. The handle was too long.
I mean, listen, for socials, that's fine. When they get there, they can see the and.
That's right. And our website is empoweredandpoised.com as well. So the and is in the handle.
So what made you start that?
So it was a few different things. I share this quote a lot, but 7 in 10 girls believe that they do not measure up in some type of way, whether it be their performance in school, with the way that they look. I mean, it's a variety of different things, right?
You with emceeing bar mitzvahs?
Yeah, I mean, that too. So yeah, I mean, the reality is a lot of it was my personal experiences with things like anxiety and body image, but it was also the need that there is in society. I had the opportunity to work, in an all-girls gym class. So I was a PE teacher for 4 years.
Really?
I was. Did you not know that either?
No, I'm learning so much about you right now.
Yeah, I taught phys ed for 4 years for 1st through 6th grade girls.
I used to want to be a PE teacher.
Really?
I went to school for it and everything.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yep, went to school for it and
So do you have a degree and like
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did you ever end up doing it like at all?
Nah, I subbed at my old high school.
Why didn't you end up teaching?
For like a year. Just
wasn't your thing.
Wasn't my thing.
That's all right.
You know what? When I was doing it, PE teachers were coming out of the woodworks. Like there was just all this controversy going on with PE teachers doing weird stuff with students. And as you know, I went to college extremely young. So by the time I was done.
How old were you?
Very young. Very young.
How old were you?
We don't need to get into that right now.
All right. Well, when we're off air, I'd like to hear.
Yeah, when we're off air, I'll fill you in. But I just didn't want. I didn't want anything to do with that type of environment. So originally, my plan was I was going to step back, let all that happen, and then because it was like it seemed like every week there was a different And it was like teachers, but it was especially PE teachers for some reason, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me step back, let all that happen, see what happens with that, and then I'll go back. But then I went other directions.
That's interesting. I did not know that. Well, see, I was the opposite. Is I never had a plan to be a PE teacher. What happened was I was at the gym, and for a while that was like, you know, I felt like I lived there. I loved it. I still do, but I haven't been going because of COVID. So that's been tough too, is trying to find other ways to stay active. But I had met somebody who was one of the head trainers at the gym that I was at. And he said, hey, there's this opportunity. There's this school in the area, and they're looking for a female. And to
like
be
specifically a female.
Specifically a female, and here's why. Is it was the school that I was working at was an Orthodox Jewish school.
Okay.
So real conservative, and so they needed a female to teach the girls. And he was like, what are your thoughts? Like, is this something that you'd be interested in? And I was like, I don't know. Like, let me go for the interview and give it a try. We'll see. And interview went well. And I was like, hey, I'm still in college. Like, I started my junior year of college teaching. And yeah, so
nice.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I was like, it's some extra money. I can build some skills. It's in this kind of area of fitness, which my degree was in exercise science. So I got to use some of those things that I was learning. And because it was a private school, I didn't necessarily have to have like my educator's license.
Right.
So it worked out perfectly, and I enjoyed it so much that I stayed there for 4 years until I kind of broke off and started doing some other things.
You did this for a whole 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that I did it for 4 years. And it feels so long ago. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. My time, like, it's just like, whoosh.
Well, you do a lot.
I mean, I try.
Yeah, you do.
I like to stay busy.
You do a lot of stuff.
I
I could
feel
not
like
imagine having your schedule.
I don't feel like I do a lot.
You do.
I mean, I guess.
Okay, so I'm not saying you do a lot in the sense of you're doing too much. It's not what I'm saying. But you do a lot. Like you accomplish a lot, and you do a lot. I mean, you took on writing a book in the midst of, number one, a pandemic, number two, going to school, number three, working full time and running a business.
All right, I don't really work full time.
If you're running a business, you're working full time.
Yeah, but I'm fortunate though. You see, like, I have a team behind me that can help me.
I understand that. I do understand that. But it's still running a business is still a full time job.
Yeah.
So you're working.
I could do as much
full
as
time.
I want or as little as I want in it.
But if you're going to be successful, you gotta.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and I'll be honest, is that with my business, I think I've done things very untraditionally. Well, with everything in my life, quite frankly. Like, I started my business right out of school. Most people usually go work for a while and then start a business. So that was kind of atypical.
They work for the man for a while and then save up and start something. But you just out the gate.
Which actually, you know, when I graduate here from my grad program at Case, which I'll have a degree in social work.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have 1 semester left.
Okay.
And
the home stretch.
Yes. I can't believe how fast that this is going too. So I will have a specialization in children, youth, and families with a school social work certificate. And my goal is eventually to get my clinical licensure, which means that I need to have roughly 2 years of supervision. So I'm probably going to go into a job, whether it be in a school or an agency or something like that, you know, while continuing to build the business on the side, so that ultimately, you know, long term, I can kind of break off again and continue to build this business, you know, even larger.
Okay. Man, see, and that's what I'm saying. You do a lot.
Well,
and you're like, I don't really do that much. You're not a very idle person. Like
it doesn't feel like I do a lot. That's why.
Well, I mean, but you're built for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're made to do this. Like this is the personality. This is the person that you are. So to you, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
To me, I spend most of my time podcasting, DJing, or playing video games.
But that could be a lot to somebody too. Like the skills that you have to do this stuff, like
it doesn't take much skill to play video games.
I don't know. I mean, being a DJ and stuff, like I remember, like I hope that anybody who is listening to this doesn't rock the house. But I mean, to figure out how to like set up the speakers and stuff, I swear I had people teach me probably like 6 different times, and I still don't know if I know how to do it.
I have a little secret for you though.
What's
a little
the
insider
secret?
Knowledge. Being a DJ. You don't need to know any of that stuff. Being a mobile DJ, you do. But being a DJ, the way that I am, like an artist slash DJ, I don't set up no speakers.
Well, I don't know much about music anyways.
I
All I know is I like to
I don't
dance
even set
to
up the
it.
equipment. I show up and plug in, and the equipment's already there, and I start rocking.
Is that money for me?
What?
Right there, that $50? that
What,
wad
over
of
here?
cash? Yeah, what's that doing? I
Hell
see
no,
that
that's
over
mine.
there. I was thinking like, hey, we getting lunch today?
Yeah, on you. You're the one that owns a whole ass company writing a book.
Yeah, well, I think that's something people need to know too, though. If they want to do that, it is Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Definitely not.
It takes time and work.
How long have you been working on the book? I don't think we touched on that.
So the book I've just been working on since this past summer, but the business though I've been building since 2017,
Okay.
which is when I graduated college. So I had it on my graduation cap. I put Empowered and Poised right on it because that was
Really?
like my next step. So it was like I think within the same week or two.
Wait, hold on one second. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You've only been working on the book since this past summer.
Yeah,
You wrote a book since this past summer.
yeah.
And you're trying to tell me that like you don't do. Do you realize that people take like a year, months, a year, like people take years sometimes to write a book. You did it with everything else that you have going on.
Well, I'm in a program though, and so like they had deadlines, and I just had to meet the deadlines.
Yeah, there's people that don't do that. There's people that don't meet deadlines.
I understand.
There's
but here's the thing.
There's published authors who are like, this is their job, this is all they do, and they don't meet deadlines.
Well, let me explain this to you though. Is there's also people who do it quicker than I'm doing it. And I've really been working hard, Thaiger, and I mentioned
feel like those
this
people
to
that do
you.
it quicker aren't doing as much as you are.
I don't know. I think there's always somebody that's going to be doing more than you are. Always.
That's fine and
Always.
dandy, but you're still up there. You're still
Well-
up. You're still upper echelon, whether you like it or not.
I appreciate, but I think here's the thing though, is something that I've been trying to work real hard on is not comparing myself because I honestly suck at it.
Well, comparison is the thief of joy.
It really is, and I do that in a lot of ways in my life. And, I'm constantly trying to check myself on that because I think that that's where a lot of girls kind of lose their confidence and lack self-esteem is when they kind of get into this hole of comparing themselves to people.
Right.
So it has. I mean, it's been challenging in that way where I've looked at other people's campaigns and it's like, people who maybe weren't raising as much as me, it would kind of go over my head. But then the people who were raising more, I'd be like, why am I not doing as well as them?
Right. But you're doing exactly what you need to be doing for what it is that you want to do.
Exactly. And it's like, that's the other thing is the importance of just being gracious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but over 100 different backers who basically got this book before it was even out.
Your book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, actually, I could tell you because I could look it up right here on my phone. Which,
you
by the
could
way,
tell
we
us
got to
the
get
exact
back to the
number.
rest of those principles for our guests. They
Don't
might
worry,
wanna hear about them.
I got this. We're gonna circle back around. We're also gonna talk about you building your company because you spoke on how Rome wasn't built in a day. So
Yeah, neither was Empowered and Poised.
How long was that process, give or take?
Well, so let me tell you this: 129 backers is what we're at, and we have less than a day right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, 129 people who believed in this mission. Honestly, I think speaks volumes, and I just am so gracious for all of those people contributing whatever they could. And I know right now, financially, it's a tough time for a lot of people. So, so some people, probably believe in this and have been supportive in other ways, just sharing their, excitement and encouragement and things like that, which I also really appreciate. So I'm just real thankful. I mean, it's been tough. Like this process has been tough. I've had to learn a lot about myself. Like I don't necessarily love the fundraising part of things. It's been very uncomfortable, pushed me outside, into areas where I did not want to or think I could go.
I've heard a lot of people say that the fundraising aspect of anything is their least favorite part of it.
Yeah, because, it feels like you're asking people to give you something. When in reality, like, none of this is being pocketed to me. Anything I raise over my goal is going to Girls, Inc. and back to Empowered and Poised to continue to helping girls, So, like, I'm not putting any of this in my own pocket. And the reality is I've spent a very long time, researching and talking to people and becoming kind of an expert in this area of girls empowerment, that there is value, and they're getting something in return. They're getting the book. They're getting to be a part of the author community and getting the ability to help me choose my cover of my book, which is super exciting. I can't wait to see what it ends up looking like.
Do you have some ideas already?
I do have an idea. I'm not going to share it yet.
I mean, I'm surprised you haven't told me.
I know. Well,
I'm talking about off air, obviously.
Maybe I can tell you off air the ideas I have. So I'm excited about that, and the process to be able to have these people who have been on board help me to choose it, to see what kind of things they like is kind of exciting.
So it's a community basically.
Yeah, I mean it really is. I mean, especially outside of the book, like Empowered and Poised, that's really what it is. It's a community. I mean, I think I've told you this before, but just in case I haven't, we have.
You may have told me, but you haven't told the people listening, so go ahead.
That's right.
Shoot.
So for everybody listening, we have a blog on Empowered and Poised, and we have had, I'd say, 150 or so individuals contribute their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all different people, primarily women, but we've had a couple men as well. And it's stories on what makes them empowered and poised. So, struggles that they've overcome, passions that they've put into action. And then we also have experts. So people who maybe have a higher degree or, an organization in the community, things like that, where they can then share their knowledge on these topics to continue to help our audience. And so that's been super exciting to have people be a part of that community, or, other ways that we get people involved, like having, business owners or empowered women come on to live videos and chat with us and things like that, which I would like to start doing more of those kinds of things. I know I've had people be like, Leah, you should start a podcast, which I don't know, I'm not there yet, but
I mean, you should do it.
Yeah, Thaiger, maybe one day, one step at a time. Let me get through this book.
When you're ready to start the podcast, I'll help you.
I appreciate it.
I'm officially saying it for the world to see. When you're ready to start the podcast, let me know and I'll help you.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
I think it would
be great. I just there's a lot going on, and there's so many avenues that I can take this business, which is so exciting. I've definitely done things that I never thought I would do with it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to completely go. I think, you have some sort of idea, but there's also things that are kind of serendipitous that just happen.
I mean, I would think you would have to have a goal in mind, but at the same time, you kind of, in a sense, let the chips fall where they may.
Yes. I will say this, is that before I was the kind of person who was doing a little bit of everything in every area. Mm-hmm. I was doing a lot in the entrepreneurial community. I was helping, I don't know if you know this, but I was working with a company called Wodo, which was an edible cookie dough bar. And I was working for them. I
did not know that.
Well, now you do. I was working for Launch House, which is a co-working community. And, I was doing all these different things, which was great. And it helped me to learn more about who I am and what I want.
And yet to you don't do that much.
Well, they were all part-time. There's a difference between being full-time in one thing and doing a lot of different part-time things.
That's doing a lot.
So anyways, So yeah, but what I realized though is I wanted to kind of keep focused on this main goal, and that is to help females, to empower them, to educate them, to be there as a support. And so I kind of had to start stepping away from other things that I maybe enjoyed that were less related.
The sacrifices.
Yeah, I had to start making some choices and prioritizing what I want to do long term, and so that's kind of where I'm at now.
How difficult was that to make those sacrifices?
Oh my gosh, for me, so difficult because I don't like quitting things, and
I was,
felt like quitting.
I was about to say that. I was about to say you're not the type of person to like to. You don't like if you start something, you want to see it through. I do know that much about you. So yeah, if you start something, you want to see it through, which is an amazing trait to have.
Thank you.
At the same time, I would see where that would make it difficult to kind of drop things to start, start your business or start writing a book.
Can I tell you how difficult one of the things was?
Of course you can. That's what we're here for.
So when I was teaching,
right,
and I let them know, I'm really sorry. I
when you were teaching PE?
Yes.
Okay.
I wish this wasn't the case, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to come back next year because usually with, education, you let them know about your contract in the spring for the upcoming fall.
Okay.
or at least at the school I was at. I think that's how it typically works. So, and when I let them know that, they wrote me up a contract and put it in my mailbox at school. And I was like, look, I want to stay, but I cannot. So like as if it was not hard enough for me, they're here writing me up a contract so I don't go.
A whole contract. Were they trying to force you to stay, or was it like, please don't leave?
I think they just didn't want me to leave. Like I really, I became a part of that community.
Could you ever see yourself going back?
Honestly, yeah, I could. I've thought about this because, with my degree in school social work, that is a school,
You're right.
And it would be cool kind of to go back and like use the knowledge I've had. And I mean, I don't know. I could even see myself doing like the PE plus social work.
That would be actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I could see you doing it. I could totally see you doing it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know where things are going to go. What I do know is in the next 2 years, though, I need to have supervision. And unfortunately, at that specific school, they don't have another licensed social worker. So I couldn't do it there in the next couple of years.
What do you mean by supervision?
So basically, I need to have somebody who I can talk to and discuss the work that I'm doing so that I can get certain hours towards a clinical licensure in social work. So basically somebody to report to and kind of debrief with and things of that nature.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. We never talked about, every time we bring it up, we go off on these other tangents. The difficulties, the time, but I also want to talk about the difficulties of starting Empowered and Poised.
Where to start?
I don't know. Let's start at the beginning. When did the idea pop in your head to start the company?
Probably. Okay, well, I don't know because there were so many variations of what I thought the company was going to be.
What was one of the first ones?
When you and me, Thaiger, started my Instagram page.
Oh wait, is that for real?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm not lying. Do you?
I totally thought that it was a whole idea before that. I mean, clearly you had the idea before that, but I didn't realize that was one of the starts.
Yeah, no, that was definitely part of it. So I don't know, like I think of a few different moments that, kind of helped me to start all of this and different variations of what I thought it was going to be. And also, let me just clarify to say,
real quick, let me just say I'm honored to even be a part of like what you've accomplished. I honestly had no idea, but I'm very honored to even be a part of, like, in the beginning, a little piece of it.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the things that you've helped me to do with this. Which we can talk a little bit more about kind of those, how we were separating those and why we were separating those here in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. When I was in undergrad, I remember that they would always ask us, you know how you do icebreakers and like share about yourself with your classmates and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so they would always ask us, if you were to start a business, what business would you start? Because it was entrepreneurship. And quite frankly, I would always say I would want to do something that like was with girls and empowering girls and whatever. And like every single time I said it, I was like, but I'm never starting a business. So why am I saying this? I don't
Little
want to.
did you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I also remember going to the entrepreneurship department and being like, hey, I got this idea. Like, what do you think? And at first it was like, I wanted to do a bricks and mortar, which let me tell you people, bricks and mortar costs a lot of money. And as a
ton,
I was graduating undergrad. It's not like I'm, a millionaire.
Rolling in dough.
Yeah, I'm not a trust fund baby or anything like that. So like, it's not like I just am independently wealthy where I could do anything I wanted to do. Right. Like this was coming out of the money. Like I worked like 3 jobs throughout college, and that's why I was able to start the business. Granted, I bootstrapped most of it and continue to do that because I'm in grad school right now,
How did you get things together to start the business? Was it just nickel and diming and hustling nonstop?
Financially, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm a saver.
Okay.
I'm a saver, and like I said, I worked 3
jobs. I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
You're a very frugal individual.
I am, and I even think about this, like if I were to become a millionaire one day with this, like I don't think my life would be any different. I mean,
if you were to become a millionaire, you would stay a millionaire. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, like here's the thing is that there's not that much that I want and need for, you know?
I mean, after a certain point, after about 10 million, you're pretty much at that point, you're set for life.
I mean, honestly,
It's probably less.
probably
But
significantly
for the
less.
average person, me and a couple buddies sat, not to get off topic. I'm gonna
Yeah,
just say this
no,
real,
you're good. Let's
real
hear
quick.
about it.
Me and a couple buddies sat around one day and we started doing some calculations. So we started thinking about things. So you figure for the next 50 years, right, give or take.
Sure.
If you buy a $50,000 car, or even $100,000 car every year for the next 50 years, you're still at only like 2-point-something million, maybe 3.
And what would be the need for all of those
Exactly.
cars?
This is what I'm saying. No, there's a point to this. Don't worry. There's a point to this. So if you do that every year for the next 50 years, right?
Okay.
You're at like 2-point-something million or whatever,
Okay.
right? If you, let's say you buy a $2 million house, what would the upkeep on that house? Let's say the upkeep is, 30,000, right?
Okay.
A year. So 30,000 a year for the next 50 years, that's another, maybe 1 million or less. My math is probably off, but what we calculated
Lucky
was
for you, Thaiger, math was never my strong subject.
what we calculated was pretty much at $10 million, everything becomes free at that point. Now, you would never buy a car every year. You would never, the things that we were talking about, you would never.
Right.
So like, let's say you spend $250 on food every day for the next 50 years.
That's absurd.
It is, but we calculated that everything we calculated, it still fell under $10 million. So basically at 10 million, you're set for life and you have, I don't want to say generational wealth, but you're set for life and things basically become free at that point. You don't think about prices. You want a new computer, you put your card in and buy the top of the line,
Right.
whatever you want. You want a new car, you just go and get it. Things become free at that point.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that there's actually a research study out there that shows like it's like only like 80 grand or something that anything like after that does not impact how you feel.
For sure. But what I was speaking of, we were talking about millionaires and how people are constantly chasing more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, after 10 million, like what the hell else do you need?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Unless you're living a life of opulence.
And I think that's a lot of what I've been learning, with Empowered and Poised is just enjoying the process. Because I'm like, all right, if I had more money, would I be any happier? If I had bigger speaking engagements, would I be any happier? And I keep going back to it, and it's kind of like, no, I don't think I really would.
I think you might. Here's the only reason. Hold on. Hear me out.
Sure.
Here's the only reason. If you had bigger speaking engagement, I'm not talking financially. I'm just talking more people.
Yeah.
Bigger engagement means that you're reaching more people and you're helping more people.
Yes.
And I think for you, that's what it's really about, is helping people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the money at all, but
no, I agree. And to me, that's why this book is so important, is because I think it's going to expand the reach of people who can get this message, and help more girls. And I think to me, that is the ultimate goal of this book, is to be able to impact more people.
Right.
So that's why I'm so excited about this opportunity and publishing and all that good stuff.
We should really finish talking about you starting your company.
I mean, like, I don't know. What do you want to know? So yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be bricks and mortar. And then, what I was saying is that as a recent graduate from undergrad, not being independently wealthy, I did not have all the money in the world to do it. So I kind of used what I had. I worked some side gigs, continued teaching part-time and picked up a gig at Launch House and, babysitting and all these other things to be able to kind of fund this project in my business, Empowered and Poised. And it was a lot of I did a ton of networking, just meeting people in the area, sharing
You're
what I'm
very good
doing.
at that, by the way.
Thank you. It's taken practice, but I
So
like
you weren't
meeting
always
people.
this good? I feel like from the first day I met you, you were great at networking.
But to me, that didn't feel like networking.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the difference, right? Like, for me, networking was it was a little more strategic. Like, I was going out and meeting people in the field.
Specific reasons.
Yeah, meeting people in the field, people that I was interested in learning more about. I would go to networking events.
Oh, okay.
Where, to me, like, meeting you, it was natural, and, just meeting somebody, out and about or whatever while I'm hanging out with other friends. To me, that's not networking because that's not as business related. That's just like meeting somebody.
When you were going to the networking events, did you find that helped you with the building of your company, or was it? Because I know some people that have gone to them and they were like, it's kind of for them, it was kind of a non-factor. And then there was other people that have done it and they were like, oh, it was a big help. So your experience,
it takes time.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate. Like when I was working at Launch House, I was the outreach coordinator. So like I was going for Launch House to multiple events, sometimes in a week.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is like, they were meeting me as Leah, the outreach, person or coordinator or whatever. I don't remember my exact title. But they were also meeting me as an individual, which meant that, as a byproduct, they were probably going to find out about Empowered and Poised because that's my business. And so if you're talking to other entrepreneurs, it's only natural to talk about the things that you're doing. Like it's exciting to talk to entrepreneurs about what each other has going on.
And you also have a personality that stands out. So I'm sure that once they meet you as somebody working for this company, but then once they see your name on your thing, they remember you, because you stand out. They're like, oh, I remember meeting her. And then maybe they reach out to you. Maybe they donate. Maybe.
What stands out?
Your boisterous personality stands out.
Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a very good thing. You are a very unforgettable person. Like if somebody talks to you for more than 5-10 minutes, like they're not going to forget you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
I doubt that you can find many people that have like completely forgotten you.
Oh, well, that's funny because the other day there was this guy I went to high school with and I like wanted to reach out. I forget why I reached out, but he was like, oh, so funny because I totally forgot about you.
He was lying.
I don't know.
Listen, anytime somebody makes it a point to tell you that they totally forgot about you, that means they completely didn't forget about you. It's kind of like, have you ever watched a boxing match?
Yeah.
Somebody gets hit and they're like, nah, it didn't hurt. That means it hurt like hell. If somebody's like, oh, dude, I told you.
Yeah, but you know what? I will also say this, is I feel like I'm in a lot of ways, a different person than I was in high school.
Okay.
So it's possible. Maybe I was more forgettable in high school than maybe I would be now. I don't know.
Doubtful. But let's say that is the case. I still think that he's lying.
Well, I don't know.
I still think that he didn't forget about you.
Yeah, he might not have, but I don't even know why. What are we even talking about now? Why are we talking about this?
Listen, this is free thought. Free thought.
Yeah,
This is free form. Yeah, we were talking about networking and how. Yeah, exactly.
That was helping me to build my business. Yeah, I mean, you gotta put yourself out there. I mean, if you want to make a business happen, you can't sit back behind the scenes and do nothing. I mean, it is a grind,
Do you think that starting a business kind of made you a bit more vulnerable to the world because you had to open up a little bit more in order to start these things?
I want you to define what you see that as.
Define what I see that as?
Yeah.
I mean, you just said you have to put yourself out there. So isn't that kind of a place of vulnerability?
Yeah. Yep. So we could talk about that and what we did with, now that I'm understanding a little bit better, I just wanted to make sure I had the right idea of what you were looking at. So when we started, so basically Thaiger was like, Leah, here's the thing. You got to have a personal Instagram and a professional Instagram. And I'm thinking
that's how I talk too. Like, that's a pretty good impression. Because I always say, here's the thing. I do say that a lot.
Here's the thing.
I mean, I don't say it like that, but.
Like that. But
that was terrible. You should have quit while you were ahead. You were
well, whatever. So anyways, yeah, he was telling me like you got to have a personal Instagram and a professional Instagram. So I had at the time it was Leah Berdysz, and then I created my kind of professional identity, which was It's Leah B.
Boom.
But
wait, you created?
We created. I know you want some credit, so yes.
No, I'm not. I'm totally just messing with you.
Thaiger was a part of this, people. Thaiger was a part of this, okay? I will not deny it. He was involved. And so, yeah, so I started those. I got locked out of my Leah Berdysz account, though. So, like, please, everybody stop tagging me on it. My sisters still try to tag me on it, and it's been years that I've been locked out of that account.
Still locked out of it?
Yeah, I even sent them the picture with, like, this. I'm locked out of my account.
Oh, and that didn't do it for him?
No. I was like, what the heck, Instagram? I tried everything. Seriously. Man. I think I even tweeted them and was like, Instagram. I cannot get in.
Listen, if you want to get into Instagram, the last thing you want to do is tweet. Because they're kind of rivals.
I mean, you might be right. I don't remember what I did. Anyways, I tried everything, can't get in. So long story short is that I had started up this It's Leah B page as my professional page. And I don't know if you remember this, but it's like every day I was posting, which by the way, I hate social media for the most part. I don't like being on it. I don't think it's good for me and my health. Like 12 days in Nicaragua with no phone was the best thing in the world. But I digress again. And so each day was a different kind of topic. So we had like Motivation Mondays, Tasty Tuesdays, which was nutrition, Workout Wednesdays, and Thaiger had helped me film some workout videos. That was back. I was real buff and back in the day.
Jacked Leah.
Yeah, you know, when I was young.
What do you mean? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, so.
You mean when you had the time to work out?
No.
It has nothing to do with you just had the time.
I mean, let's be real. We can all make the time. If I wanted to wake up earlier, I can make the time. But right now, I value my sleep,
so,
you know?
So back when you made the time to work out a lot.
All right. Fair.
Yeah.
So.
Get out of here with this back. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, when I had that account, and each day was a different topic. And
oh, I know. I remember.
yeah, we had.
I was the one shooting the photos for it.
Yeah, I know. And they were some bomb photos. Like, man, let me tell you. But do you remember the one photo, though, Thaiger? The one where I was like, it was real dark. And I like made the thing about how I had Chipotle the night before. And like, I was not digging the way that I looked in it. And you were like, Leah, are you kidding me?
I do remember this.
And I was like, I feel fat. I don't want to put this out. And you're like, Leah, this is what your brand's about. And I'm like, I know. And it's hard. And guess what?
I even remember your voice being like that.
Yes.
You just brought a flashback to me.
Well, but let me tell you this. Whatever, 3 years or however long we are in this process, it can still be hard.
Of course. Well,
So
I mean,
yes.
it's a process.
So yes, I have had to become vulnerable. Actually, I will tell you, this was really hard for me. Is on Friday, I recorded a podcast with Ashley Parker from A Splash of Ash, which if you have not had a chance to check out her podcast, please do. She's new in this area and she's amazing. And it was just probably one of the best conversations I've had in a really long time. Just super open, vulnerable, and
do you have a URL for that or anything that you can, you can tell people?
It's A Splash of Ash. Let me make sure on the underscores and stuff, because I know that can make a difference. Give me a second here. I'm pulling it up. Okay. So it's _splash of Ash.
Wait a minute. You said
A underscore splash of Ash.
All right. I'm going to put that on the screen right
now. There you go. And
should I put an @ in front of that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Ashley Ann Parker, she's incredible. And then she was like, hey, you know, I can do things last minute. So I like called her up and I was like, Ashley, tomorrow, want to go live with me and 6th grader Morgan Hillman? And she's like, I'm down. And I'm like, yes. Because I'm not going to lie, I got rejected a couple other times before that. But anyways.
Rejected by Ash?
No, by some other people. But also like it's unrealistic to think that everybody can just like, you know, go on the next day live. So I get it. It's fine. And they said that they'd be willing to do it later, which that's another thing, right? As I was feeling rejected, like that was hard for me because it felt like they were saying like that they didn't want to do it and that like I took that personally, but that's not personal. Like you're asking somebody the day before, Leah, get it together. People have lives, like, you know, but that's how passionate I am about the work that I'm doing, is that sometimes I think I take things a little too personally for no reason. But anyways, so I was talking to Ashley the day before on this podcast, A Splash of Ash, and she has her master's in, I think it's mental health counseling. She decided not to end up getting her licensure though, because she just felt like the clinical work really was not as much of her jive, and that's why she's kind of doing the things that she's doing now and kind of created her own business, which is super exciting. But we were talking about some of the challenges that, you know, we've gone through together, like as women, and, you know, the comparison stuff that I brought up before, and body image, and all these things that can be really tough. And for the very first time, I spoke about, you know, I've talked a lot about my anxiety, but I don't talk about the fact that I'm medicated.
Okay.
Because it's something that to me, like at first I didn't want to do it. Like I wanted to be strong enough to not need that. And like, I'm a big mental health advocate. And so for me, like I will tell everybody whether or not you have problems, I think everybody should be in therapy because I just think it's a really great thing to do. And, you know, I think over time things are becoming a little bit more open and a little less stigmatized, but like there's definitely still stigmatization around mental health.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, as a mental health professional too, is like nobody wants somebody who has issues helping them with their issues because they have issues. And so maybe they don't know what they're doing. But for me, I feel like it's helped me to empathize with the people I'm working with and have an understanding of the struggles they go through. And, you know, I'm actually grateful that I had this kind of realization about the fact that I needed to be medicated, because I think I might have been less open when I have clients and maybe would have had some sort of biases inside of me had I not gone through that myself.
Okay.
You know,
that kind of goes back to the being vulnerable.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying is like this past Friday, I think was the first time that I spoke publicly about that. Like my good friends and my family know, and it's not a high dose or anything like that, but like, I think it was something that I think I felt ashamed of, but it's like, but why?
Right.
You know, why did I feel so ashamed about that? It's okay to get help. You know, but I think it's just all these messages that we get from society. And like, that's what I want to break with the things that I'm doing is like people realizing that what works for one person doesn't work for all of them. It's okay to get help. We all need support, you know?
It's not a one size fits all.
No, it's not. So if you haven't already, check out Conscious Empowerment, a guide to helping girls build self-esteem and confidence.
That's the name of the book?
That is the name of the book.
We were going to get to that.
I think we already, Thaiger, we said this in the beginning.
We never said the name of the book, I don't think.
I think we did.
Okay. not gonna argue. We argue a lot.
No, we don't argue.
Playfully.
Yeah,
like
banter.
brother and sister.
Yeah.
Brother and sisters who get along.
I did hear on your show the other day, you don't joke with people who you think can't take it.
Yeah, I don't make fun of people that can't laugh at themselves. Yeah. So like in my family, I always tell people, like, if they come over to my mom's house, I'm like, she's going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
Because this is what she does. She clowns people. Like, if you went over there, she'd probably joke with you about being short. Or, you know, if you don't want to eat, she might be like, why aren't you eating?
Hold on. Step back. Are you making fun of me right now?
You're shorter than my mom. I come from a family of people that are 6 foot.
All right, fine.
How tall are you, Leah?
How tall do you think I am, Thaiger?
I don't know, 5'2".
Hey!
Am I right?
If you were just at a carnival, you would have won a teddy bear.
See, there you go. But yeah, like, so growing up, like, we always made fun of each other. So that's my personality. Like, I joke with people, you know, we snap on each other. But there came a point to where, you know, you develop empathy. You know, most humans don't develop empathy till they're like 18, 19, right? So
I don't know if I agree with that.
I'm just speaking science to you. So you start to realize.
But they can learn it earlier, which is why Empowered and Poised is so important, Thaiger.
They can learn it. Talking about it developing. We're talking about two different things.
All right, fair.
You can learn to fight. It doesn't make you aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So I started to think to myself, man, how is this making this person feel? So then I decided that I would only clown and joke with people that have the ability to laugh at themselves. And I also have to be able to laugh at myself, because it's not right if I make fun of you, right, for something, and then you make fun of me and I get mad.
Yeah, I agree.
That's hypocritical, right? So yeah, I only in that form of joking.
How do you know when?
Oh, you figure it out.
They
like,
can joke or not.
I don't come out the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look at them. I don't come out the gate like that. You know what I mean? So you figure it out by getting to know someone. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And if they say something about me and I say something back to them, and none of this is mean spirited. Like, I don't go for the jugular. Little things, like maybe the color of your shirt or something like that. Never personal, never. Nobody said nothing about you. We're not talking about you. Yeah, I might like.
That's a hilarious green shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, if it's like loud green, like the Will Smith back there, and I wear loud colors, so I've gotten it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's not funny. It's like,
it's funny if your delivery's good. Anything can be funny if your delivery's good.
Yeah, okay.
That's why they're stand-up comics. Like, they're funny because their delivery is impeccable.
All right.
The funny ones. Some of them are just mean. But
Yeah.
yeah. So like I started to, you get to know somebody, you get to know somebody's personality, and you can kind of gauge whether or not they have the ability to laugh at themselves. You
Sure.
know what I mean? And if they do, you'll joke with them. But then there's also like, the people that do that and then they take it too far. Like they keep it going. And I try to not do that. Like if I joke with somebody, it'll be 1-2 jokes and then that's it. I'm not going to harp on anybody. I'm not going to sit there all day, but like the last one I did with this past Thursday with John. I don't know if you got to watch it, but John was doing some silly stuff and we were making fun of him, but it wasn't the focus of the show at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
We all had a great laugh and then we moved on. When people take too much of anything isn't good. You know what I mean? Even too much, some people say too much positivity isn't good. Because if you're just positive over everything, then you're not really seeing the world in a real way. Like I'm an extremely optimistic person. Like I don't really view things in negative ways. And a lot of times people will be like, well, some things are negative. And it's okay to see that they're negative. You don't have to let them negatively impact you, though. So,
yeah, I think it's all about
doing.
balance, right?
Yeah.
It's about balance and moderation. And that's how I feel about most things in my life. And with Empowered and Poised, we talk about social, mental, and physical well-being. Like you need to be speaking into all those. And I would argue to say that spiritual is another one, too. We don't use
You'll get no argument from me.
Yeah, I mean, we don't use that as much in our organization just because we're working with girls from all different backgrounds and we want to make sure that we're inclusive. But I know for me and myself that's also another component that's also super important is to be able to make sure that you're staying well in all of those areas and working to continuously improve all of those areas for yourself.
I think that I think what you're doing is great, first of all.
Thank you.
I also think what you're doing is for a lot of people, extremely difficult, and I'm thoroughly impressed at the way that you handle it. Obviously, it's not easy.
Sure.
How do you wind down? Like, we're not here to delve super deep into your personal life, but do you ever get to the point to where things kind of feel like like it's too much and you need to just wind down a little bit? I know you probably hang out with your cat now. I know you probably hang out with Furby, so
sometimes Furby gets me going though, man. Like when he tries to hop on my laptop while I'm doing work, like Furby, get off.
That's what cats do. That's what they do.
I mean, I'm trying to work.
You didn't read the Owning a Cat handbook? Like
no.
Cats are all over the internet. Listen, you know what you're getting with as many cat videos on YouTube getting millions of views.
Yeah,
you kind of know what you're getting into.
I didn't
with
watch
cats.
them.
You need to start checking them out. So what type of things do you do to like wind down? What type of things make you happy or just take you away from reality, even if it's just for a few minutes?
I just think it's funny because like when I tell you the reality of what happens.
Oh boy.
So usually my boyfriend gets the brunt of this. Sorry, Michael. It's a lot of tears sometimes.
Oh man.
I will be honest, like I'm a crier, Thaiger. Like I swear. And it's not just when I'm upset. I cry about everything.
Is that what makes you feel better?
Sometimes
Really?
just letting it out. Yeah, it can help. I'll cry when I'm sad. I'll cry when I'm happy. I'll cry when I'm excited. I just feel like I cry about everything. Like my tear ducts are overactive. Get it together.
Well, don't cry right now.
No, I'm not going to cry right now.
A lot
I'm
of
good.
electronics in here. We don't
All right, no offense, but like usually your jokes aren't that funny, but that was a belly laugh.
Girl, my jokes are always funny.
I mean, like I get a laugh, but like not the belly laugh. That was a belly laugh.
You see what you just did, right?
What?
It's like when old boy said, "Oh, I didn't even remember you." You having to point out that usually my jokes aren't funny means I'm funny as hell.
Okay.
You just try.
Can you not use that kind of language? You don't know what kind of listeners. We might have my girls listening.
It's not a
language.
It's in the Bible.
All right, fair. But yeah, no, okay. In all seriousness, yes, I do cry, and sometimes.
Hold on, real quick. To be
Yes.
fair, I haven't cursed this whole time.
You haven't.
Specifically because I know you're on.
I appreciate
See,
that.
and specifically because I know the type of listeners that we're
I
having.
appreciate that, but
Boom.
I don't think you curse that much, anyways. At least not around me.
We curse up a storm on this
Okay,
show.
maybe with other people, but not
Except
with me.
for the one time we had Ariana on. She's 8. Did you watch the episode?
No, I didn't see that one.
She's 8 years old.
Ooh.
She's an 8-year-old business owner whose business got started from this podcast.
I got to see this.
We'll talk about that off air.
Yeah, I would love to hear about that. Who knows? Maybe I'll have her as a guest on,
You should.
things I'm doing.
Honestly, I think you should.
What is her business, just out of curiosity?
She makes bracelets.
Wait a second. Did I meet her?
No.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Because I definitely met another young woman who...
She started the Bracelet Club.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
We dubbed it the Bracelet Club, but she is the owner and operator of the Bracelet Club.
I love that. I love that. That makes
Actually,
my heart so happy.
I actually do. I want to introduce you two. To be completely honest with you, I've been thinking about this. I want to introduce the two of you.
I would love to meet her.
Do. So we'll make that.
Honestly,
we'll facilitate that.
There are few things in my life that make me more happy than the things that I'm doing with Empowered and Poised. And I mean that genuinely. I do want to go back to your question though. Yes, sometimes I do cry when things get hard, to be honest. But other than that though, self-care, I know that like that seems like such a cliche and overused word these days, but it is so important. And for me, there's a lot of different things that I do. Honestly, watching dumb TV sometimes can help because it like...
Really?
Yeah, because it can help me that I'm focused on that and not thinking about a lot of other things. Where even when I'm doing something, I don't know, that might be relaxing. Like I really love to go on hikes in the metro parks. And in Cleveland, we are so fortunate. Like there are so many beautiful ones in the area. But even when I go on those walks, sometimes my mind is still racing. So yeah, sometimes I like to watch TV, which is interesting because when I was in college, I didn't even have a TV at all, period.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And I could totally do without it, but I have found that that is something I do sometimes enjoy doing. And I made it a point to, in my self-care plan for one of my classes, to say when I watch TV, I'm going to put my phone away because I'm the type of person who will continue to work and check my emails and check social media and do that kind of thing while I'm watching TV. That doesn't help.
Do you do that for meals as well? Like if you're having dinner, if you go out to eat, do you put the phone away?
Yeah, I try to.
Me and my friends, when we go out to eat together, we do a phone pyramid.
Yeah.
Phones face down, stacked up on top of each other. First person to touch their phone has to cover the bill.
Yeah, I mean, and I also, especially when you're with somebody, think it's just respectful to them to not constantly be on your phone. And like, if there is a reason, like sometimes things are urgent, right? As a business owner, like there might be an email that I'm waiting back on. So like if I was hanging out with you, Thaiger, I'd probably say, hey, like I got a call I got to take or whatever. Like, do you mind if I take it kind of thing, just out of respect for somebody else, but especially during meals. But yeah, so going out in nature, exercising, deep breathing is a big one.
Really?
Yeah. For me, have you ever heard of square breathing?
I've heard it in passing, but I haven't like looked into it, so I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so for me, that's my favorite type of breathing, and I've shared this with some other people, and I even teach it to the girls, in our sessions sometimes. But basically, what you do, and I start my finger in the opposite way than like most of the things online do, because it just makes more sense to me logically that when you're breathing in, you would go up. So it's like breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, and then you reset. And you can also do it where like you breathe in for 4, hold for 6, out for 8. And I think that helps too. But I always go by the 4. And it's great because you can do this when you're stressed or anxious and nobody needs to know. So for me, like I'll just take my finger like real small, like down where nobody can see it and like kind of trace that. Cause yeah, I don't know, that has worked wonders for me to like helping to calm my nerves and things like that down.
I actually do breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I breathe, but what I know people are watching was like, yeah, I do too. But so, one of the benefits of when I got, the watch, I don't want to say the company, but we're not going to promote them, but the company watch, what I'm talking about. One of the things it does is remind you to breathe. There's a breathe reminder. And when you hit start, it basically guides you through breathing. Like you inhale for a certain amount of time, hold it, exhale. And
how often do you use that function?
So it reminds you probably like maybe once an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm not that fancy. I don't have one of those.
There's times that I don't do it. Like if I'm in the middle of DJing,
sure,
and it's the high point of the night, then I'm probably not going to do it. But honestly, if it's early in the night or later in the evening, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, it's not something that people have to know that you're doing. And, I'll hit okay. And then, I'll inhale, exhale. And
I mean, yeah, your body needs that.
I was a
to
bit of a
slow down.
naysayer for a while.
Mhm.
Like I was like, what's it going to matter? And then I realized that it does help. It also goes back to when I used to own an MMA school, and a lot of my
No,
guys.
I didn't know you owned one.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah,
I knew you fought. I didn't know you had a
and I
school.
owned a school. I owned a school right here in Lakewood for a while.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Cool.
So when my guys would fight, when the bell rings, the first thing I would say to them is relax and breathe.
Yeah.
It's always the first thing I say. And one of my guys was like, you know, coach, like it's one of those things where you should do it, but until I say it, they're like, oh yeah, I should relax and make
that's
sure that
also
I'm breathing normal.
like when you're exercising.
Yeah.
Sometimes like if you're lifting something real heavy, you'll forget to breathe.
A lot of deadlifters pass out because they're forgetting to breathe as they're doing it.
Yes.
And get to the top and then.
Yes. And something else too is like, I'll be honest, I'm not a great runner. Running is not my favorite way to exercise.
I do know that because you told me that before.
Yes, but I mean, sometimes I still do it, right? And like when you're running, you're supposed to breathe, I think, in through your nose
out through your mouth.
Out through your mouth. But for me, for a while, I was breathing in and out through my mouth, and then I was like, dying, help.
Oh, man. Yeah, just in and out through your mouth, just panting.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
That can't be
but I've
good
gotten
for you.
better. But again, all these things take practice.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know what? I went to a kind of cool training the other day on tapping. You ever heard of tapping?
No. Elucidate me.
So I'm no expert. I just went to this training like last week or something like that. I had heard about it a while before, though. I actually, so when I was teaching at that school, I had the opportunity to do some lunch bunch groups with some girls. So when you say...
Real quick, what is lunch bunch?
That's a great question.
I know, that's what I'm hearing. The hard-hitting questions.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically, we were doing girls groups. So social skills, basically what Empowered and Poised does. That was like the first time I really had the opportunity to do it. And it was awesome because I got to do it with somebody who was already a school counselor who was more experienced than me. And so that's the first time I was introduced to tapping, was quite a few years ago. I haven't necessarily used it within my own practice though. And so it's something that I think I might like to do more for myself and for other people. But like you said, you were a naysayer with breathing. This is one of those things that's like even more goofy.
That sounds so terrible. Like I was a naysayer for breathing. No, I'm not going to breathe. I'm going to just...
I mean, it does sound kind of funny.
Right.
But so what you do is you take, and there's different points on your body, and you would tap them. So like this is the first one.
So are these your pressure points?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
And there's also things you're supposed to be telling yourself. So it's usually like, even though I'm feeling anxious, I know that I'm going to get through this, like that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
And so it's like this point, and then I believe the next one is like right here, and then you go to your temples, underneath your eyes, like on the bone part, not under here, because that's kind of the soft part. But that was a question somebody asked, so just to clarify. And then you go on the up top of your lip, underneath your lip, underneath here,
basically
which is
all
like
of the facial pressure
but then under
points.
here too, which is a funny point, and then right here.
Oh, okay.
So like on that
right
bone.
on your collarbone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're supposed to be saying these different things to yourself as you go through. And there's information online if people are interested in learning more, that you could go and find videos and things to learn more about it. But I'm super excited. Like this process of grad school, I've learned so much that I can integrate into the work that I'm doing with these girls, and also just for myself. So yeah, it's been exciting to learn about the different techniques and how to, deal with anxiety and stress and all that kind of stuff.
And it's been helping you a lot, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. I think, like I said, I mean, it was probably a year ago that I decided to go on medication. But between that and the skills that I've been learning and the work that I've been doing, which, again, hard work, like, a lot of people don't even want to go to therapy because stuff comes up that you don't want to have to talk about,
Right.
But I'll say for me, it's been awesome. And I am in such a different place than I was a year ago. And a lot of these things, like, they don't show on the outside, but on the inside, like, I feel way better. I, can calm myself down way easier. I get through things. I feel more resilience. I, love who I am more than I
can honestly say
have.
I notice a difference.
Really? What would you say that you see as different?
I would say that you're a lot more, for lack of a better word, you're a lot more mellow now than when we were first working together, starting It's Leah B. You're a lot more, you think things through a little bit more now, and like you don't have a hair trigger anymore. And that's not to say that you would get angry. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you would get frustrated really quick with certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we would shoot some photos and maybe like you say, okay, we need this many. And then I might say, well, actually, we only kind of need this many. It would make more sense to do this. And you would get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would chill out and you'd be like, okay, if I was right, you'd be like, okay, you know what? You're right. We should do it that way. But yeah, you're a lot more mellow now. And that's not to say that I never had an issue with you. So I don't want people listening to be like, oh, he's, you know what I'm saying?
I
not
appreciate
at
that.
all. But I do notice a difference.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. And I will say too that like some things take time, you know? And I
Absolutely.
think it's not only that I've been able to manage my stress and anxiety better, but I think I've also just matured over the past couple years, right? I mean, I'm still not that old. Like I'm 25, almost 26.
To let you tell it, you're old as
All right,
can
it
be.
depends. It depends on the day.
You're
it depends on the time.
I always tell you, you're
hours.
not old. You're like, back when I was young. You're young.
I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I will say, like, I don't know. I've always felt like I was in a different space. You know, like a lot of my peers my age, I had trouble relating to.
Yeah.
To be honest. I mean, like some of my best friends right now, like they're 20 years older than me, you know, which I'm not saying I don't have friends my age too. Like I definitely do. I think for a long time, it was just hard for me to relate to people my age. So I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like I've grown a lot in the past few years. In a lot of different ways. And I think the business has caused that, you know, going to grad school has caused that. The people I've decided to keep in my life and chose to surround myself with, I think that's,
Furby.
you know, definitely Furby.
I
mean, but really, I had to become more patient with Furby. It's kind of like a kid.
Yeah. Yes, that's why people
Scratching my
That's why a lot of
couch.
people get pets to prepare themselves for like.
That's not why I got the cat.
Oh, I know that's not why you got the cat.
Because you know me, I want kids. Like I'd have them today. Actually,
But
I want it.
one
but
of the side effects of having a cat is it's helping to make you a more patient person.
Tiger, you already know how excited I am to have kids one day.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so excited.
I know. We've talked about it.
I will say, there is a family that I have been helping out with, and they had a baby this past week, and I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
No, seriously, I can't wait.
boy.
Like when I was working, so I know I told you this, but it was last year, first semester, I was working at a home for pregnant and parenting women. And like, I loved it. Baby cuddles, it doesn't get better than that. It just doesn't.
I mean, for me.
All right, whatever. For me.
You know what's wild? I just told you that I noticed a difference. There is so much that's different about you. At the same time, you're not any different at all.
Well,
and
yeah.
let me explain that to you.
Okay.
You are still you. You're not someone who you somehow have cracked from the outside looking in, from me talking to you, you're somebody that has figured out how to crack the code of bettering yourself and getting rid of the negative, or working on getting rid of the things that were negative and keeping every positive thing that made you who you are. I don't know how you did it. Maybe it was there. Maybe you could chalk it up to therapy, but I know a lot of people that go to therapy and come out a whole different person. Not always for the best. They're just different. It's not negative, but it's just a lot of the good things about them leave too. But you're a person that really has you know, you've benefited, but you are exactly who I met, you know, those years ago. Like every positive aspect of you that made you to me is literally just still there.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean,
I appreciate it.
You know, we're the ones that get to enjoy your personality. So thank you.
I really do appreciate that. But I will say this is, like I said earlier, within my business, I kind of keep faith out of it, just because I want to make sure that it's inclusive to everybody and that nobody feels like, you know, I'm ever impressing upon anything onto them.
Right.
But I can speak for me on a personal note, because I do in the blog let women share about them personally, right? And what they say doesn't impact, you know, our beliefs. It's them sharing who they are. And so I will say, I think one of the things that I'm most grateful in my life is that I was raised with a foundation of faith.
Right.
And for me, that is truly like what this is, and why I've been able to do that. You know, faith is such a big part of my life. And I think it ultimately, the things that I'm doing to me are what God has put me here on this earth to do, you know? And I think just like walking in faith and knowing that God has your back.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you really can't count on anybody else because I mean, people pass, you know, like
they do.
Your family, you know, you lose friends, things like that. But for me, at the end of the day, God is the one constant, you know? And to me, I think that is what has gotten me through all of this when things are hard, to fall down on your knees and say, Lord, I need you, you know? So I think that that's why I've been able to do what I have. And I don't speak about that as often, just because, like I said, I don't want ever
you don't
want
want to
anybody
project onto other people.
I don't want ever want anybody to feel like they need to believe the same things that I believe. But I will say that a lot of the principles among all faiths are very similar. Like when I was working at the Jewish school, like what's in the Torah, or like I have a friend who I've learned a lot recently because she's Muslim, and so I've learned a lot about, you know, her faith and things like that, which has been beautiful. A lot of the principles are really the same.
I mean, I always say it's just different paths to the same goal.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain faiths, obviously, that are
For sure.
very different. But I think at the end of the day, though, they are very similar in a lot of ways that people sometimes don't always take into consideration. Like, you know, I was not, you know, when I was working at that school, I really made sure that there were certain things that I wasn't adding into the curriculum. And that's the one thing I will say is I've been able to tailor the curriculum to meet the needs of the different people and the different groups that I'm working with, which is, again, why I felt this book was so important to write, is because I saw the importance of tailoring things to meet the needs of the different cultures and, you know, individuals that I was working with.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was learning that I could still get these messages across without having to explicitly say that, like, you know, God is involved in this. But things like the golden rule, treat others the way that you want to be treated, and things like that. I mean, that's universal.
Something Joe Rogan said one time in passing on one of his podcasts, and I tend to tell other people, is he said, even if you don't believe in God, live like you do. So, like, you know, be a good person, treat others with kindness, you know, don't kill people, don't steal, you know what I mean? So even if you don't believe it, just live like you do, you know what I mean? Because the ultimate goal is to be good to each other and be good people. Yeah,
and I know they say keep religion and politics and all that kind of stuff out of it, which, like I said, for the most part, like in the business we do, but I can tell you is that one thing that I've been kind of disappointed about is that in Christianity, I think there's a lot of negative things that have been happening, and people are like, you say that you're a Christian, but you're not acting as though you're a Christian. And I think that it is important for me that I don't just talk the talk, that I walk the walk too, you know, to show people out there that faith is a good thing and it can play a strong role in helping you to do good in the world. Yeah.
And at the same time, you don't force it on, you're not trying to force it on other people. I mean, I've known about your faith since I said face. Your faith. I mean,
you've known about that.
I've known about your faith since the first day I've known you, and it's never been. I know that's a pretty high fall for you too.
You see this right here, everybody? Woo!
But it's never been something that you've tried to, you know, force down anyone's throat. I've always respected that about you.
I appreciate it.
Another thing I want to talk about is your points. What was it? The six points. The six principles.
You still want to go back to that? I don't even.
Yeah,
remember.
we got. You wanted to talk about it.
Yeah,
listen,
I wanted people to know they're important.
Never fear that I will bring things back around. I will always bring things back around.
Eventually,
it happens. Listen, we got nothing but time over here.
Yeah, I don't know where did we end off? Let me see. Representation was the last one we talked about, right?
Yeah. So okay, really quick, run through all 6 points.
Yes.
And then let's delve into each one if you like. Okay. Yeah. So what are the 6 points?
I will be honest though, Thaiger. I'm getting hungry. And you know what happens when I get hungry?
I know what happens when you get hungry. You turn into a little...
I can't work so good. So we might need to go through some of these points and wrap this conversation up soon to get some food.
Calm down. All
right. Okay, so the 6 points. # be that adult. #. Okay, I won't keep using this voice. exposure. Next, we got representation, affirmations, be seen, and sports and fitness. But we also talk a little bit, in the beginning about the history of intersectionality, feminism, intersectional feminism, which I'll be honest, I'm not sure that every single person who's bought the book is gonna get down with, but I think it's important. And my hope is that these people who have bought the book obviously are here and they're supporting me, that maybe they'd be open to the message through this book. Because I'll be honest, those are hard conversations to have. But I think that it's important people know about that. And this is about helping girls to build self-esteem and confidence, but it's also helping to continue the conversation when it comes to social justice and, the injustices that have been happening lately as well. And we do talk a little bit about that too.
Okay. Do you want to delve a little deeper into each one real quick? I know you're getting hungry. So I will let you take it from here.
We could go just a little bit into it, but I really do,
because they need to get the book to get the full.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you don't want to give everything away.
No, and I will say this is that to me, the best part of this book are the stories from the women that I interviewed and the girls that I interviewed. To me, that is what makes this book the book, because you can't replicate somebody's story.
Right.
You just can't. And these women were so incredible. Like every time I got off the phone, I was like, oh my gosh, like she's amazing. Or, even like I said, there's been some guys, so I don't want to discredit the males that I talked to either. Like for example, Lou Bergholz, I had the chance to interview him. I read his book, Vital Connections, which is all about kind of being that adult for the children, being that champion for them and being there in their lives. And he's worked all over the world with different youth. And I know his mother actually on a real personal level. And I met her through my mentee. She's like a grandma to my mentee kind of.
Nice.
And so I was real lucky to get to talk to him too and hear more from him. So yeah, these are amazing individuals. And yeah, I'll be happy to dive a little bit into it. But I really, really hope that people consider getting a copy of the book, because this is not going to be enough to get the full breadth of what the book is, Right. But yeah, so being that adult basically is showing up for the children and adolescents in your life. So just being there and listening, you don't always have to give advice. A lot of times that's not what people want. They just want you to listen.
They just want to be heard.
Yes. And I'm not always the best at that sometimes, so my boyfriend tells me. But when it comes to the girls, I make sure that I'm on my A game, because they matter. Not that he doesn't matter, but no, yeah. In all seriousness, though, this is really important, is to listen, to really listen to them and be there for them, to show up. If they have a function, go to it. Be a role model. Like I always say this too, is your daughters see you. Yeah. And they are like not only sometimes a spitting image of who you are, but they pick up a lot of those same qualities and characteristics and those values and things like that. And that's not to say when they get older that they can't veer off in a different path for better or for worse. But, when women are sitting there and saying, like, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, oh my gosh, look at my jiggly arms. Like, the girls hear that. And then they might feel that way about themselves too. So, if you're struggling, try not to show your daughter that. And if you do, have a candid conversation about, like, here's how I'm challenged. Here's how I'm working through it. I know that you're strong enough to work through it too. So that's all what affirmations is about. Exposure is about letting her try new things. So, and this does not have to be paid, because to me, accessibility is huge. And I think sometimes people think like, my mentee was fortunate and she had the opportunity to go to like Costa Rica, or I forget exactly where it was, but it was like some real cool place, you know, and go on this journey. But it doesn't have to do that. Like, you can do this in your backyard or go through programs like Girls Inc. that have scholarships. So any girl, regardless of her socioeconomic status, can have the ability to be exposed. I mean, in Cleveland, we're fortunate. We have all these wonderful museums like Cleveland Art Museum. It's free and open to the public.
Facts.
The cultural gardens. Like, they had
those are amazing, by the way.
It was like a festival, and I got to go through the festival, and it was like,
wasn't that over the summer?
It was. I didn't go this summer. I don't know if they had it this summer.
I think they had they did something over the summer because a friend of
Yeah.
mine came up from my friend Kelsey. She came up from Austin, Texas,
Okay.
and she's really into museums and stuff. And we went out there, and there was something going on.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, at each of the different places, you got to learn about the different cultures, you know, and they sometimes had activities or different things. And I think those are great things to take your kids to.
For sure.
You know, and also like plays, you know, at the public libraries, especially in our area, have so many resources. That are just incredible. So yeah, that's basically what exposure is about, is helping people to try different things so that they can learn more about what they're passionate about and explore different areas that maybe they're interested in. And also, again, not impressing upon them what you want for them, but what they want for them. So like, you know, if they want to be an artist and they don't want to be a doctor, helping them to really hone in on that skill and continue to build that rather than saying like, this is a life you should live, right?
Yeah.
Representation is all about making sure that, as I had said earlier, that we see people who look like us. So especially the media, I think that there's definitely been progress, but I think there's a long way to go. And that's also diversity. Like, honestly, I would love to see like more male nurses. You know, that's not something you see. So like that would be on the opposite end of the spectrum.
You want to know something weird?
What? You wanted to be a nurse?
No, but most of the nurses I know are guys.
Oh my gosh. I don't know who these people are you're
I
meeting,
feel like I live in quote unquote opposite world. Yeah, most of the nurses that I know a bunch of women nurses, but
yeah.
I know a ton
Yeah.
of guy nurses.
Well, I think that's awesome. And I'll say, like, in the field of social work, there's very few men. Like, in my program, I could count them on, you know, I can count them on my two hands. A lot more women. So I think representation goes both ways for women and men. Like, I would just like to see more diversity in these different areas. And also not just gender, but race and cultural backgrounds and ethnicity and all those kinds of things, right, too. The next one that we have is how to be seen. And that means just showing up. Like, you don't have to be the best looking person in the room or the smartest person in the room or the funniest person in the room. It's being who you are and being authentic to yourself. I will say, this really touched my heart. The other day, I had one of my classmates share to me. She's like, you know what I really appreciate about you, Leah? And I was like, what? And she was like, you're the same person for everybody. And I'm like, there's other people that aren't?
Big facts.
Like, what? This was like, because to me, it's just like I am. I just am who I am. And every place that I'm at, like, I'm goofy, silly. I'm me.
I think that's why you and I have been such good friends. That's exactly, I live by the words of Popeye. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. And that's
Popeye the chicken?
No, Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah, I know, but
Cartoon.
he has chicken. Popeye has the chicken place.
No, that's a whole different Popeye.
Popeyes. Okay, I don't eat fast food, but we're almost done.
Does chicken really count as fast food?
I'm just saying, I'm getting hungry.
You're the one You're the one talking.
I'm just messing with you. Okay, so yeah. So yes, I think I just felt real grateful that she A, recognized that, but B, I think it just blows my mind because to me, it's like I don't know how to be anybody other than who I am.
Right.
You know, so it's just kind of, it's an interesting concept for me because it doesn't make sense to me. But apparently that's not the way that everybody is, you know, and they show different sides of themselves. And I'm not saying that I don't have there's some days I'm happier. There's some days I'm sad, and that's normal because we have a range of emotions. But she was like, you are the same person to the classmates, to the professors, you know, I'm not afraid to ask questions that other students, you know, might be afraid to ask because that's just who I am. But yeah, so being seen is just showing up and being who you are. That's basically what that is being authentic in yourself and helping girls to do that. Next, we have sports and fitness. And
here we go.
Yeah, so when I was younger, honestly, I hated sweating. And I was embarrassed. Yeah, so I actually would wear, all right, talk about confidence again. Here we go, Leah. I would wear only dark colored shirts because I'd sweat through my shirts and that was embarrassing. Oh, okay. And I think other girls have that issue too.
I think they definitely do.
Yeah, and in fact, I've seen this on Girlology. It's this site that has pediatricians that are giving information out to parents and girls and things like that. I found them on social media. And they actually were talking about sweating for girls. And so I know it's still an issue that other people are having because they're talking about it still.
Clearly.
But But yeah, so I didn't like sweating. So I didn't like sports when I was younger because then I would sweat. And I also, I don't know, I don't know why I didn't like them, but I had tried a lot of stuff. And I am grateful for that because when you ask, what did you do when you were younger? I think we kind of went off on a tangent after Girl Scouts.
As we do.
Yes. But I also had done some other things like soccer, like softball. I had done Little Leapers, which like, what is Little Leapers? I see your face.
Literally about to ask.
I know. So it was like we got to do baton twirling, cheerleading, gymnastics, tap dancing. It was like, I don't know if it was a camp maybe, but my mom signed me up for it.
Really?
Yeah. I did dance for a little while, which is funny because I ended up at Rock the House as a dancer.
Right.
I was in show choir. That was big. That was 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Do you know I
6 years.
wanted to ask you if you were ever in like choir or something since the first day I ever met you.
You've never asked that?
I've never asked
I was in show choir for 6 years.
I can tell.
Yeah, I was.
I think that has a lot to do with your personality and like even just the way you project your voice.
Yes, the diction. That was big. Yeah, I'm loud.
Even when you you sing things. Like you sing things when you're talking and you get excited, you'll sing things.
It's funny because you know how we talked about boxing because you're a boxer and like that's one way I really love to exercise, which I haven't done in a while and I really miss it. But my coach would always be like, loosen up because like all my movements were so stiff.
Yeah.
Like I had to do in show choir. Like it was like every finger had to be placed perfectly, which I don't know, could be part of the reason why I'm a perfectionist is because there was that element of perfectionism, you know, in that it wasn't a sport, but it kind of was a sport because it was competitive. And I'm telling you, like, we practiced literally more hours than the football team. Like, at the school that I was at, I mean, it was intense. I mean, we went to, like, California and New York and things, which talk about exposure. That was amazing. But, yeah, so I was in show choir. I had done all kinds of different things. Volleyball, too. So I guess that was a sport that I was interested in. Yeah, I played volleyball up until 8th grade, and that's when I had stopped.
Why'd you stop?
Because I didn't really like exercising that much, and it took a lot more in high school.
Yeah.
Which is funny because then halfway through high school, I became super into working out and exercising, and then as I had mentioned earlier, got my degree in exercise science. But yeah, I think sports and fitness. The reason that we have this in here is, as you know, science shows exercising does great things for you.
Facts.
Endorphins are rushing. Makes you feel good. And sports are also great because they teach a ton of skills, leadership skills, teamwork skills. And it does. I mean, the science shows that it can help a young girl to be more confident. So those are the 6 principles. Would really love if anybody would be interested in purchasing a copy and supporting this so I can continue my mission of this Empowered and Poised and empowering girls, educating girls movement that we have going on here to learn a little bit more. Happy to connect. People can reach out to me on my website, through social media. If there's any way that I can help anybody, if that's what this is all about, is being there and supporting one another.
What is your website?
www.empowered, I see you typing it, and Poised, POISED.com. EmpoweredandPoised.com.
You could have just said it right.
I just want to make sure you had it right.
I probably spelled poised wrong.
You did the first time.
Does that look right to you?
Yeah, that's it right there.
All right.
That is it. That is my website. And there you can find out more about the book. You can find out there's links to hear me speak on some other things. There is a resource page, which is really, really great. It has all different kinds of resources, hotline numbers, things like that for you, and especially your daughters in your life. There is the blog if you wanted to contribute to the blog or just read other people's. You could sign up for our newsletter. Really great resource. You can email me off there. So basically that is the go-to place.
Right there, Empowered and Poised at the bottom of the screen.
You got it.
Now that I moved it down there.
You got it.
Where will they be able to pick up the book?
So right now, depending
Well, really quick, what's the title of the book?
Conscious Empowerment.
And
a guide to helping girls build self-esteem and confidence, which that's the subtitle.
Okay,
But it's conscious empowerment.
Okay. And what are the plans for where they'll be able to buy it?
Yeah, so right now we are finishing up the pre-launch.
Mm-hmm.
So if this gets out ASAP, people might still be able to go to the Indiegogo link and get it that way. And if people buy it in the pre-sale, they actually will get to be a part of the Conscious Empowerment Circle, which is basically an author circle where they can help me to choose the cover of the book, be involved in beta reading, along with a bunch of other really cool perks. I'm going to see if I can maybe extend the deadline with my publisher so that when this goes out, people still have the ability to become a part of that. But after that closes up, people will be able to hopefully find it on Amazon, in the bookstores, in places near you.
And hopefully an audiobook version as well.
Yes.
So you're just going all out.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is like go big or go home, right? We had 3 different options, and we could either stop at the paperback and the ebook, the hardcover book, or the audiobook. And I decided to go all the way to the audiobook.
I was about to say, knowing you, when you were like, oh, there was 3 different options. No, for Leah, there was not 3. For you, there was one option.
I considered it.
For like a quick second.
All right. It was maybe a quick second. But here's why. This is why the audiobook is important. Can I please just share with you, Thaiger, before we go?
Of course. It's why we're here.
The reason that the audiobook is so important to me is because it's more accessible. It increases accessibility for individuals who might struggle with literacy. And also, our audience is a lot of parents. We know parents are busy. Like, they are seriously jam-packed, especially right now during COVID. I give props to all the parents because the other day I was nannying, and the parents knew that I was going to be recording a podcast while I was nannying, but at least 2 times, the 5-year-old ran into the room and was like, Leah, I need your help on something. And, you know, they can edit that out and stuff in the podcast. But I'm like, look, this is the reality of COVID right now. Yeah. You know, if you're trying to work from home, your kids are running into your videos. Like, this is a lot of people. So props to all the parents out there. But yes, parents are busy. And so to have an audiobook, they can listen to this while they're doing their dishes, while they're cleaning the house, while they're going on a run or walking their dog or whatever. So for me, the audiobook is really important, not only because it's the way of the future, but because it increases accessibility.
Right. I dig it. I'm here for all of it.
I appreciate it.
I plan on getting a copy of everything.
Woohoo! Thank you,
Matter
Thaiger.
of fact, after it comes out, I think we should do this again. I think we should get you on a live show. After the book comes out, we should get you on a live show and chat about it. If you're willing to.
Might be able to help you out.
Might be able to do a little something. Well, Miss Leah B, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for doing this.
Indeed it has. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure. You and your boisterous attitude.
Woohoo! Again.
Once again, the website is empoweredandpoised.com. I'm going to throw that up on the screen real quick. And if they want to reach you, they can reach you at, let me pull up your lower third. Boom. Is it getting covered?
Yeah, it's getting covered. Well, he's figuring that out, though.
Boom,
I do want to also give a little shout out to Thaiger, because if you have seen the promo video for my book, he helped me with the B-roll of that. So thank you, Thaiger, for your time and your expertise. Little old you. Yep, helping along the way as you do.
Well, I didn't do the B-roll. I did the main stuff.
Yeah, he did the important stuff.
Yeah. The video of you.
Yeah, it was a video.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, that wasn't the B-roll.
That was. Oh, okay. Well,
that's the A-roll.
That's why I have you helping me, Thaiger. I don't know about this stuff. He did the video where you see me and did a fantastic job with it. So thank you for that.
It was my pleasure.
I know this is not the last time that you'll see me and Thaiger here working together on some awesome stuff. So.
Oh, really? No, I'm just
really.
All right, well, we're getting out of here. Leah B, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Till next time.